Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are enjoying this Labor Day. If you have the Labor Day off, I hope it's going well. If you're working on this Labor Day, more power to you for doing so. I am showing you this flag. I can't really open it the way I'd like to, but I am showing you the flag not only as a visual aid for the holiday, but also because of a very solemn anniversary coming up. Saturday, of course, marks 20 years since September 11th, 2001, when thousands of people were killed in terrorist attacks at both World Trade Centers in New York, and the Pentagon, and a plane crash in Pennsylvania likely thwarted another big attack. And I just wanted to share my personal memories of that day, as well as a bit of a commentary about the aftermath of that day. I was a senior at Dakota Ridge High School. I was getting ready for school as Sassy is coming in here. Show you my dog Sassy here really quick. But anyway, I was getting ready for school that day, and my dad was watching the news and told me I ought to turn on the news because a plane had just flown into the World Trade Center. And I, of course, wasn't thinking anything of it at the time, and didn't really dawn on me what was going on until as I was about out the door for school when my dad said a second plane had hit the second World Trade Center building. And that's when I knew something wasn't right. Still, when I got to school, I was talking about baseball with a friend of mine who was also a big baseball fan. But when I got to class that day, they had the TV on and the World Trade Center buildings were on fire. I soon learned the Pentagon had been attacked with another plane crashing into it. And then shortly after that, I learned of the plane crash in Pennsylvania. And I was glad I didn't have any homework that day because I could not have focused on it. Even though it obviously was a long way from where I was in Littleton, Colorado, the attacks were on the East Coast, I couldn't focus. I was very sad and very stunned by what had happened. And I wasn't thrilled that the next day I saw people carry on like nothing had happened, just going about their lives. Thing happened in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. Things happen, let's move on. That was the vibe I got from certain people over the next day or two. But what bothered me the most was about 5 months later, someone I couldn't care less about asked me about 9/11 this question, and I quote, "Why were you so sad?" Unquote. Let's see, thousands of people died for no good reason because somebody wanted them dead, and I wouldn't feel sad about that? And then someone then went on to say that 9/11 was a good thing because it got us to care for one another, because it united us for a bit. And maybe it did unite a bit of the country for a while, but thousands of people dead for no reason, and that's a good thing? I found that very strange. I still find that very strange. And even if a terrorist attack turned the entire country into best friends for a year or so, no terrorist attack is a good terrorist attack, obviously. And those people on 9/11 and whatever other attacks there have been didn't deserve to go out the way they did. They were just living lives. They gave a whole new meaning to the term innocent. Just working, flying a plane, living their lives. And then because somebody wanted them to die, they died. And I know some people believe that thinking about these times is wasting time, but I'm not one of them. I reflect on these times because I think the people who died that day certainly deserve to be thought about, as well as the families of those who lost their lives that day. But also, there was a not so subtle reminder of how fast life can change. How life can go from really good to really bad so quick, and not to take anything for granted. A lesson I learned multiple times during what was a very rough year in 2001, including obviously September 11th. And a lesson I learned again in March of 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic shut everything down, including going to restaurants, ball games, and whatever else. So that's my thought for the day, still remembering 9/11/01, and I shall never forget it. I certainly hope if you were around back then, you never forget September 11th, 2001 either. Just a personal thought. I thank you for watching and bearing with me. I'll talk to you soon. In the meantime, have a good Labor Day, everyone.